name's Adeliso Zulu, aka Mulungwamayo, aka Man Bembeleza, the man of steel, the hustler, whatever you feel like calling me, as long as it's some nice stuff. I love that. So today I'd like to talk about being unique. First and foremost, Vusi Tembikwara says something very interesting. He says society is a group or a set of organized averages. I don't know if I said it right, but it made sense to me. Whenever you happen to be different from how society expects you to be, you face a lot of resistance, you face a lot of ridicule, you face a lot of hate, because society expects you to be what they want you to be, and that's average. But here's the interesting fact. The world itself and revolution is dependent on the few people that choose to be themselves. So the reason why it's hard for you to relate when you're being yourself is because the real you possesses a lot of strength. The real you possesses a lot of potential, and that's the reason why an average person is unable to accept you for who you are. But Kurt Cobain says something very interesting. He says, I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for what I'm not. So be yourself. Imagine if Michael Jackson was forced to be a doctor. I saw it in 3 Idiots. Imagine if Bill Gates had stayed in school and not followed his dream. Imagine the whole revolution itself, for it to happen, it's dependent on the few people that are brave enough to walk their walk and be who they really want to be and not what society expects them to be. The second thing that I would like to talk about is focus, because a lot of people find it hard to focus because we are so distracted by the people we hang out around with, by social media itself, by unnecessary stuff, and that's the reason why we fail to reach our fullest potential. You know, Albert Einstein says every man is a genius, but if a fish is judged by its ability to climb up the tree, it will live its entire life believing it was stupid. So if you are yourself, that means you are a genius. But working on that genius requires a lot of focus. And how do you work on that focus? Let me tell you an interesting story. Andrew Carnegie was once approached by the American Senate. They were investigating into his business, why he was becoming so rich at a fast pace during the Industrial Revolution. If you've read about the Industrial Revolution, you know that around that time, it was hard for you to make money, to become an overnight success, because by then, it was industrial. You had to put in the real work. So when he was being interviewed while all the companies were crashing and he was making a lot of money, he just said one thing. He says, I'm able to focus my mind 5 minutes on one thing in a stretch without thinking of other things. Then they were like, for you to make $1 billion empire, it's 5 minutes is not enough. And he was like, try focusing on one thing for 5 minutes. And all the people that were interviewing him couldn't do that. Then it was realized that an average human being spends around 12 seconds on a thought before they can divert to another thought. So if you can spend more time, Albert Einstein says, I'm not a genius. I just stay with the problem longer in my mind. So we are all geniuses if we can just take more time to pay attention, to focus on one thing and one thing only. Yeah. And the other thing that I'd like to talk about, to improve on your focus, you need to love being alone. Since you're unique, you're different, it's going to happen to you a lot of times that it's hard for you to relate to other people. So you need to embrace being alone. You need to love that, because if you're a creative, you can relate to that. The greatest ideas come when you are so immersed in your thought. And how do you do that? A lot of people, society right now, or the average youth, an average youth has to have a crowd of people around them for them to deal with themselves. The reason why your friends right now, or the reasons why you are failing to find time to be alone, is because you are failing to deal with yourself. You're actually scared of being with yourself. But Dr. Wayne Dyer says you can never be lonely if you love the person that you are with. So if you are alone and you are with yourself, you can never really be lonely if you accept and love the person that you're with. Because if you're a creative, if you're an artist, if you're a person that chooses to walk your own path, you're gonna find it hard to find people that relate to you. One way or the other, on your way, on your path to success, you will find people that can relate. The right people are gonna come in. But for you to start a journey, first, you need to love doing it on your own alone. And that's how you get to reach your fullest potential, your highest goals. Yeah, my name's Daliso Zulu. That's enough for today. Meet me on the next video where we get to talk about what you want to talk about or what you have to listen to. Thank you.